Greetings. We are live. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Come on in. Greetings, ascending souls. And howdy do. Welcome to our very first Sunday brunch here on YouTube. We're going to wait for others to come in because it is our first and different time zones and all kinds of things. So I'm just grateful that I'm here. Yes, yes, yes. My name is Renee, and I'm Coach Renee here in Renee's Nest. Sunday brunch. Yes. What is Sunday brunch all about? Let me get something. I'll see. But what is Sunday brunch about? Sunday brunch is about a time or a gathering for us to get together, and especially today, so that we are able to have some guidance from the divine for the week to come. Let's see. Pardon me, I need to wet my whistle. Make sure that everything is everything. Okay. Cool. Had to have something quick, but we'll start over when everybody gets here. Mm. See, I can see. Grand Rising. How are you, Diana? Joining. Thank you for joining. Coming on in. He said it took me a second, but I finally found you. Oh, I'm glad you did. It took me a second too. It's all new, and I'm having to learn how to navigate this new process. But isn't that life? You know what I mean? So welcome and thank you for being here. Were you a follower on TikTok? I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Oh, Gonzo Science. Thank you for letting me know that, and thank you so much for following. I was doing something trying to get that last video off of TikTok that I did for the live. I guess it was around 11 o'clock. TikTok was already handling business, so I am so glad that you are here, and thank you so much for your continued support. And tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? No, they didn't give us to midnight. They didn't even give us to midnight. I so I so agree with that. They were not playing around. So, and the same thing happened with the same thing happened with Lemon 8. Yeah. You live in Michigan, but you're originally from New York. New York City. Well, great, great. I did an internship in Michigan. Yeah, right. I think I was in Kalamazoo at this place called Sturk, Stark, and it was a place, a rehab. Um, and I didn't know some of these places even existed, so it was a serious culture shock for me. but I enjoyed. I was there for about 3 months in the winter time. So figure, you know what I'm go figure that. So yeah, and I'm closer here to New York because I'm in Jersey. Yeah, I haven't heard of that part. Oh, between Ann Arbor and Detroit. Okay, okay. How is the weather? And do you do the lake, the, the lake fishing, fishing in the lake? Eastern Michigan. Okay. Okay. You're vegetarian, so no. Had you done that when you were a child? Is that something? Because most people, oh, that's right, because you were not really raised in Michigan. You were raised in New York. Yeah, I get that. Oh, yeah. A lot like New York. Good. Okay. When I was there, the snow was for real. And I learned that people did still go out and exercise and jogged and did everything that I would have done in the South because I was raised in Virginia, born and raised in Virginia. And so uh, I was like, what? Look at all this snow up to the window sill. And why are people going? Why are there houses out there on that? Oh, that's a lake. I'm like, oh, what? So those things were culture shocks for me. Oh, wow, you've been a vegetarian since you were 12. My goodness. Okay, I got you. I think New York gets weather 3 days later. Oh, I got you. I got you. I got you. Oh, girl, I was not. Mm-mm. So for over 45 years. Wow. That's wow. You can have that. I like the tropics. I'm a, I love the water. And I'm from that area, Virginia Beach area, Tidewater area, Hampton Roads, and so I've been raised around it. I love the water, and being not being around it is like, mm-mm. And so also our weather is not as cold. It gets cold, and we don't get as much, excuse me, snow, but that doesn't bother me. But I want to be somewhere where it's tropical, 24/7, or excuse me, all year round. Right? That's my desire. Your mother's Guatemalan, so also mostly vegetarian. Yeah, yeah. Is that Guatemalan? Yeah. I've got to learn some languages. I gotta find a tutor to help me or learn some Spanish, some because as I extend my travels, hello, who's here with us? As I extend my travel, I want to be able to converse intelligently, right? But it's like, oh God, I don't know. So I need to immerse myself in culture. Yes, yes, yes. And I thought about my expat journey going in that direction. Mexico was a an option, and it still is travel option because I was going to be in Playa del Carmen. I stayed there for about 7 days, 10 days, not 7 to about 9 days, and I thought I was going to stay there. Then I was considering Mexico, and I liked it. I really did. But then I found I'm going a little further towards Panama, towards Colombia and Medellin, and maybe even Portugal. So, but wherever I make my home base, I definitely want to, I think it's going to be a Spanish speaking nation or culture. Absolutely, absolutely. I can do it and I am going to do it. Yeah. You were using italki, okay, to learn your grandfather's language. Oh, that's cool. I had Duolingo, but you have to do it. You have to still engage, right? So I'm going to try that italki to see what's going on with that. Who else is here for our Sunday brunch? Yes, a live tutor. Ooh, italki app. You can find teachers and live tutors, and they only are charging 15 to 20. Oh, that's pretty cool. I need to write that down. I was just looking as I saw your message to see if I could put it on my phone. And I think I like that because it gives you, I like interaction. I would love having a live tutor. Yeah, the italki app. Yes, 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 yes. We're going to wait a few more minutes because we don't want to waste any time. But again, it is new. Um, is there anything specific that you are? Yes, that's what I like, the interaction. Is there anything specific that you are that you'd like to ask me about? Any questions that you may have about what I do, the services I provide, uh, and how even I know that we got together on TikTok, but what was maybe something that was or that is part of your journey that you have questions about? Cool, cool. Well, you know you have that. Yes. Hmm. The mental health field I am 100% a champion of it. That was my course of study in college and then um, my grad, and even further. I just believe that we all should be mindful of that our mental health is really what drives, helps to drive our physical health or the lack thereof, right? And so I tell people a lot of times, because I have the counselor in me and the coach in me, I call it counseling. And I know, and that's why someone brought up something the other day about the efficacy. I believe in all of those principles, but my practice it melds all of these things together. And so having a therapist to work on those root issues, right? Those things that you might need to have an pay attention to is absolutely necessity necessary. In addition to that, I even myself have I have a therapist, um, but I also have a combination of a therapist and I also have a coach, right? And I think that's important because sometimes when you're going through therapy, you're finding out the issues, but when you're thinking about um, the spiritual part of this, it is important to understand that a lot of what we have been taught and the belief systems that we are currently utilizing or entrenched in is the very thing that's keeping us bound to where we are. But the spiritual part of it, helping us to realize who we are innately, we are a spirit having a human experience. So if that goes for me a little bit deeper, and when you are able to connect and align at that level, a lot of the physical parts that we are dealing with, we kind of work with that, or we work with that almost synonymously. And even you're able to see your mental health differently. So I always say to people, coaching, or counseling, or especially Mirror You Wellness, is designed to help you see yourself from a deeper perspective than just the traumas that we have created in our life or been through in our life, or it's a transition. But this particular transition goes a little bit deeper, and I think it melds together quite nicely. Let's see what you were saying. Friends and colleagues are using Spanish. Great, 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 great. Every tool, not every tool, but the appropriate additional tools in our lives. Who's here? Make yourself known. Um, I see that there's someone else here. Who else is here for our Sunday brunch? The spiritual part is very important generationally, especially too. Absolutely, I believe that, because I think when we can cut some ties with with old perceptions and understand how when we become literally in this in alignment, it really does change everything. And I know to a lot of people that seems like all love, yeah, I understand, but you still have to do A, B, and C. And I agree. However, you can be led and guided by the universal life force energy, that omniscience, that omnipresence, that omnipotence. You can't lose. So it's not like you don't have to do some things, but the manner in which you do it, is it effective? Is it divine timing? For if I am a spirit having a human experience, then I have to make sure that my spirit man is well versed, and it is. We're going to talk about today consistency. That's what we're going to talk about today. And this plan, this is actually for this for this wellness plan for today's Sunday brunch. The subject of the wellness plan has to do for the week of January 19th through the 25th. Okay. And what it is meant to do is to give you a framework by which you can maintain focus, because as spirit is giving us or giving me what the collective, what's going to be coming up, not specifically but some general things, it'll be your life that can use these tools, and as the week goes on, plug them in for your good. Does that make sense? That makes sense. um so that's what Sunday brunch is all about. um oh, I like that. I can do that. And so there is a place to put hearts and all of that. She said, I need to break old habits and old habit energy. No, I definitely feel the energetic connection. Need that and particular things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. I get it. That makes so much sense. Good. Yeah, and so it's just about, like, okay, so for the first 2 weeks we talked about, the first week we talked about minding your business, or minding your business. And that is all about coming down from the big picture of what it is we want in our lives. Who else is here? Who else is in the building? So that can you just say hello so I know who you are? And thank you for coming into our first Sunday brunch. It looks like we have 2 people here. If you will make yourself known, that would be nice, especially since you're sitting at our table. Um, I forgot the hell what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, instead of looking at the big picture, I don't know. Please use the chat on the side, maybe. Um, that would be nice. I know it takes some getting used to if you have not already. So, oh, And it might be just me. We're the only two participants. That's but it didn't do that at first because I just figured out how to. Hmm. No, it didn't say too early the whole time. That's why I was looking up here and it just said you and I in there. So maybe someone came in and left. I don't know. But we're not gonna worry about it. Welcome in. So the something like that. That might be it. So the spirit wants us to get used to not taking such a trying to do so much to take such a large bite out um, of our goals and bring it down to why don't you just look at some of the things, the small things that you are doing that's creating a little bit more confusion in your life, less time management, a little more anxiety. And in the big picture, you can't really be effective in affecting your goals if these small things are not available. And so the minding your business part is to pay attention to the small things that you may have been overlooking that have a huge effect. Then the second week or last week, this past week, we were talking about you have to lose your mind. You have to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So, as things are being revealed to us, as we are changing and recognizing ourselves, we don't need to be, well, I'll say concerned. Be mindful that this is transitional, doing something new. Right? And when we're doing something new, it often feels uncomfortable. And depending on your personality type and how you might be a worrier, or you might just go forging forward, or it might just pull you into a state of just doing nothing. Spirit wants you to be mindful of that part of you that has to go. So you literally have to lose your mind. The old mind, the old things, the old belief systems are all being transformed. So be willing to surrender and let them go. And last week in our Sunday brunch subscribers, the word was we were to be mindful of discernment this past week. Now, as you're being mindful of all of these things, there's a hell of a lot of things going on around us. Because so above, so below. So that means that if it's happening in the heavens, which means all these planetary changes, right? You say my discernment is a mess. And see, that's those small things that you know about yourself that become now the tools and the focus, right? When some people don't want to talk about, I'm not good at this, or I have I'm challenged with that. But as you said, um Diana, my stuff is a mess, girl. My radar is off, right? And that gives us somewhere to begin, because that lets us know that there is a need for stillness and quiet. And if that's a challenge, then we do things to help that part out, so that when you begin to be still and quiet, that you have tools to help you remain in that um, in that vein. Okay, don't do that because it's working perfectly. How do you think we came together? You're on board. You're just unaware of some of the things that are indicators to you that that's your intuition talking. If you already find it hard to trust yourself and make decisions without having to involve a lot of people, blah blah blah, this may be a challenge. And so that's part of losing your mind. You realize that, as you said, You lost your intuition a long time ago, and I come back to say, no, it's not lost, because we wouldn't have never been together. You would have never come to the TikTok live, right? And as simple as that seems, that's you following your intuition. So to become aware of how you communicate with your higher self becomes important. And it's important, as we talked about last night, to qualify and to quantify those experiences. How do you qualify those? You take a look at them and you say, oh my goodness, this happened. I remember. You begin to examine those experiences, those interactions, those feelings, those beliefs, right? You start to qualify them and determine, eat the fish and spit out the bone. Make sense? And then you quantify, you remember all the times that you have overcome. It may not have looked good, but in order for you to get to the age and the time that you are this present day, you have to have succeeded in a lot of things to get here. And so once you begin, pardon me, to change your perspective, it's a win-win. And when you change your perspective and begin to see yourself differently, not necessarily through the eyes of your experiences or through through those that sacral chakra energy of all the traumas that you have experienced in your life, but you're able to see it and see how you can take some things from it that are blessings to you and lessons, and be grateful for them and leave the rest and keep moving, right? That is the joy and that is the power that you have. I'm sorry, I'm looking for. Mm-mm. That's the power that you have. Okay. And so I want you to be mindful of that. That's what losing your mind. So we're talking about being minding our business, and then losing our mind, being comfortable with knowing that we're in transition. And in transition, we often feel uncomfortable and we don't typically know how it's going to turn out. So now, as you go through the week and you have those feelings, you already know to expect that these are the things that go along with transition. How does that sound? Make sense? If it does, just hit the likes. If you want to share. There we go. Yeah, yeah. So what is it? What is it that you, if you don't mind sharing, what do you do for a living, or what is your profession, or what do you do daily? Because we're going to get right into it. I don't know if anyone else is coming, but we've given everybody 30 minutes. So if you have a pen or a pencil as you answer, if you have a pen or a pencil, if you want to take some notes, please feel free to do that. And I don't know about how to edit over here, but um, we'll see about how I can let, if people are not catching this live, how I can see about putting it on or putting up a video. Okay. All right. That is so cool. I like that. You're a paralegal working with immigrant unaccompanied children. What a heart. What a heart. That's not just a job. That got purpose in it. You have to have that kind of heart to want to do that work and do it well. So I applaud you for that. You also have a small acupuncture practice. Oh my goodness. I used to work with midwives or midwives, maybe midwives, doing births, midwives doing births. But many of us stopped during COVID. I can only imagine The life of a person who has a heart to ensure that the future is safe, as well as to assist those who, the doulas and the midwives. Again, another meaningful uh, category of work. What a beautiful way. Oh, that's so beautiful. I need to keep you in mind. No, don't worry about that. I got it. I need to keep you in mind as we begin, as Spirit begins to expand our territory and we begin to meet and come into contact with minded souls. This is what I mean by when you start to change your perspective and acknowledge your discernment. So you have to know that, listen, I want land and I want to have a big place where we can bring different modalities of healing and helping and growing and, all kinds of natural things on one big old piece of beautiful land. And not only be a help to ourselves, but also each one teaching one. And I will not have all the skills that are required for that. And this is what I want you to know. The more you acknowledge that you are in the right place, and that is as evidenced by running to the answers when and people with the answers that resonate with you, those synchronistic encounters, maybe dreams or seeing numbers, right? Those are the kinds of things that continually remind you that you are in alignment. And if you find it difficult to believe anything else, if you can keep that in mind, you'll become accustomed to how you and spirit are communicating, right? Again, it could be through numbers or anything. See, now now the number has dropped. I'm just curious. Still have me and you, but only one showing up. That's interesting. You used to homeschool my kids, but they're grown now. Yeah, I'm not sure how YouTube works. Me either. But that's all right. We'll keep going because I will never despise the day of small beginnings. They have huge impact. Because this conversation is very important because it also confirms things for me, but I want you to allow yourself to be open and to receive all that you are receiving based on your, I won't say obedience, but your alignment, right? You made this happen. You followed your intuition, whether you were aware of it or not, to tap onto TikTok on the last few days, maybe the last day even, right? That's some divine timing. That's some love for you to let you know, listen, this is how we work. I got you. And I don't know if you were on the live where I said we can get down to the 11th hour where there's something that we want, right? And the lady said, well, what's the 11th hour? I said, it's when something is due. You don't have 12 hours to get it done. The 11th hour is when you start to feel panic or like it's not going to happen for me or what can I do, right? You can get down to the 11th hour, just like finding me at the last minute, right? That divine timing took you over to the next level of not only my process, but our connection together. That's how I see it. That's a beautiful thing to me. I just love that. I'm going to keep hitting my button because that's the value of your intuition. Now trust it, right? You're minding your business. This is what I want you to be aware of, and you might not be aware of, but I'm trying to create a picture that you're minding your business. Your self-care is the most important thing. And you're losing your mind willingly, in other words, losing those things that people, places, or things that no longer serve you. And this week, we're going to be talking about consistency. I felt like spirit just punched me in my throat. We're going to be talking about consistency. So if you want to take notes, please feel free. And in meditation, and now this is going to be your focus point for today, the 19th of January, through the 25th of January. And then on the 26th, we're going to have our next Sunday brunch. That way we kind of can talk about what these things, what happened throughout the week and how our this guidance was able to help, hinder, whether you use it or not, and all of that. But it's here for you. Okay? Cool. All right. So for the week of the 19th through the 25th, the word is consistency. So there were a few definitions, and I didn't think about it until I started looking up the various definitions. But one of them was conformity in the application of something. Conformity in the application of something, and conformity, it just brings things into um, in order, right? Another definition is, and I hadn't thought about this one, was the way in which a substance, like liquid, holds together, or thickness or the viscosity, consistency. If they don't have the right consistency in a batter, or you don't have the right consistency for something specific, or you're going to put something on the wall and you need the paint to be right, then it doesn't allow you to be effective. So we're looking at consistency also, right? Is doing something in the same way or having something stay the same over time, over and over, right? The consistency. How dedicated, that's a good word. I like that word. How dedicated are you to your self-help? This week, Spirit says, I want you to be mindful of consistency. Not your self-help, your self-care, right? Now, this does not just apply to you. Remember, whatever goes up and above, it was happening up above, it's going to happen here. But it's also going to happen in our world. So we might see how this message not only is good for us personally, because we are puzzle pieces to this big piece, right? Hello, greetings, greetings, greetings. How you doing, T? Good, good. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. And so remember, we are part of a big picture, right? And we're also a part of that big picture, that this thing that's happening, not just in us, this is happening for everybody. Now, like we said last night, it depends on this. The divine text says something about raining on the just as well as the unjust. And we explained last night what I meant by that. And that means the just for me are those who have become conscious and are aware of this ascending journey. The unjust are those who choose to remain the same and to remain unaware of their spiritual connection. They choose to stay in the course of the matrix. They tend to stay with the old belief systems and all. They are usually led by the news or the media, by all of the systems, right? They are led. Okay, so when we think about that, if you are receiving a message, right, and in spirit, and you are in alignment, that same message may be interpreted by someone who doesn't understand in a totally different way. It might irritate them. It may cause them to act out, right? For an example, if it's Mercury retrograde, which we know many times Mercury is responsible for communication of all styles. And if you're working on being mindful of that and being mindful of what you say, and you know that you're not doing contracts, you're just being mindful of this time frame. What if the people who are not being mindful of that, they did make a contract, it didn't go through, It became a big argument. It affect that emotional response affected so many people. So that's what I mean by this: the things that we are doing, the information that we're receiving. Not only are we getting it, but the people who don't understand and just feeling are responding. So that bears, to me, an importance of making sure that we are in alignment and in discernment. So the word of the day, or the word for the January 19th through the 25th, is consistency. Again, conformity in the application of something, uh, or the way in which a substance holds together, the thickness of it, the viscosity of it, or when you're able to slow that up, I'm sorry, or doing something in the way, or having something stay the way, that way over time, the ability to stick to a plan and a decision over time. Now, you can take it both ways. This week, Spirit, what are you going to be saying to us about consistency, or me personally, you want to say? Now, consistency, here's the other thing. These are the questions that came up in meditation. There is a part of you that desires that you remain the same. There is a part of you that is going to resist you doing something different. There's a part of you that has a fear of the unknown and will genuinely come up to you because it's going to want to keep you safe. Safe according to what you all have created as safe, right? So you got to know that part of you that needs to go away, that keeps coming up. I want you to call it your shadow. Just picture it. Everywhere you go, it goes. It's never going to go away. It's not right, wrong, good, or bad. Your job is to become aware of that shadow, that part of you that desires for you to remain the same. Making sense? I like that my damn self. I'm going to hit my button. I'm going to hit my love. I like that. That's the part, absolutely, that part linked to fear, all of those low vibrational feelings. Whatever it is for you, whenever it comes up when you're trying to do something different, it's doing its job. Your shadow is always on point, always right there, just in case you try to do something different. Not because it's bad, but because that's how you, that's what you've taught yourself. That's how you've taught yourself to protect yourself. Don't do that. Don't touch that fire because you're going to burn. You've had experience enough to know that you shouldn't do that. And so these experiences in the past are like roots. See behind my head? And they produce the leaves on the trees. But we already know the leaves on the trees. That's called fear. That's called anxiety. That's called hesitation. That's called sabotage. We already know that's producing. So it's not, even if we cut the tree off right here, these roots are going to reproduce that action, that karmic action. And you're not really consciously aware that you have that reaction every time that thing comes up. But that's why Spirit says, I need for you to mind your business. I need you to pay attention to your reactions and not to the medicine bottle, air, the person, place, or thing that brought it to you. Don't get mad at the person because they said something. Understand why you reacted the way you did. Because that's an indication of your trauma, of your pain, of your wound. And so in transition, we are always feeling like we're not winning when we're used to feeling like we're in control. And so, because our body wants us to feel like we're always winning, that part of you doesn't, it wants you to stay the same because I know this. What's this going on? I'm not, right? The other part is familiarity is your comfort zone and is it's unsafe for you. Familiarity is a comfort zone and it's unsafe for you. It doesn't allow you to trust yourself because that's where those old beliefs are. That's what doing the same thing the same way with the same people getting the same result is. And that's why as you come out of familiarity, it is uncomfortable. The Spirit says this week we're talking about remaining consistent or having the right consistency. And if you have been consistent in the wrong thing, acknowledging that, and we're going to break that attachment and try and do something different. Your shadow or your physical experiences, let's just say that, requires your attention. That's what transition is. Your shadow is requiring your attention, your presence. And when you can acknowledge this is how you do your self care, this is how you mind your business. Would you agree? Yeah. She said that part. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 100%. So we've learned so far that our wellness plan, the focus for our wellness plan for January 19th through the 25th is consistency. Consistency is conformity to the application of something or the way in which a substance it holds its thickness or its viscosity, right? Doing something in the same way or having something stay the same. The ability to stick to a plan or decision over time. So know that because Spirit says this is what's going to be happening, and I'm not just giving it for us. This is for the collective, right? So I want you to be mindful of this wellness plan throughout the weeks as it relates to you. And then as you see things around you, see how consistency and what we're talking about is manifesting. And then see what your part in it is. Because the question was, your shadow requires your attention. And when it appears, it's doing its job. The question is, are you? Have you been reluctant, afraid, fearful of the word shadow? What does that mean? Right? Because that alone can prevent you from moving forward to discover. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to get some cards because I already got some, but I said I wanted to do this live. Any questions so far? This is very key. This is very key because this is what I'll use. I'm going to use it. Thank you, Spirit. This is the first card, the Spirit. And this is your Spirit guides. These are the cards from the Spirit guides. I don't know if anybody reads or does it, but this is from that. And the first thing the Spirit wants us to recognize today, because I did a preliminary pull, right? But we are going to do our archetypes, our power animals, and if we need to do it in focus. Spirit says, everyone has value. And I thought about that and I said, well, I'm pretty fair. But then I had just had some thoughts in my head about people in my past who I know now used me and did me wrong. And the thoughts in my head were not what I wished for them, but I wasn't happy. And I'm like, how dare they, blah, 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 blah. And I went into that feeling of, oh my God. And then it just kept opening up other categories of people or times in my life when I thought that I was a help to someone. But now when I look back, I realize that they were using me. You know what that feels like? Anybody know what I'm talking about? Yes. Anybody? Yeah. And so I said, Spirit, let's just. So then when this came up, I was like, because at first I didn't see it applicable. And then because when you minding your business and you losing your mind, your old mind, it's going to be filled with truth, and the truth is going to set you free. And so when the truth came that, oh yes, you judged those people, that's judgment. And judgment comes out of fear. What the I know you lying. That was a whole wait a minute moment. Judgment comes out of fear. I can't. It was too much. It was too much. Let me read you something here. Bum, 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 bum. Where did I see that? Everyone you know, everyone you pass on the street, everyone you see in the news, they are your brothers and sisters. Hold up. I ain't even talking about race. I'm talking about, what if they murderers? What if they are child molesters? Spirit says, fear comes out of judgment. And if we are all mirrors of one another, how dare you judge someone else? If you even perceive that, then you need to go back to the drawing board, because everybody got a purpose. Do you know how many people's lives are being adversely affected by the banning of TikTok? And they don't have anything, they don't know nothing. Talking about the just as well as the raining down on the just as well as the unjust. They don't know anything about this spiritual walk. They're over there with those who have not awakened yet. But it's situations that happen to awaken people like that. And those are the people who are going to fight in ways that we know never have to fight. Because their purpose in life is to be here, just like George Form, George, the guy who got killed in California, right? He had a purpose. Everybody has a purpose. They have a karmic reason. They have a reason to incarnate in this lifetime. And we don't know what that is. All we do is see the end result. Some people are clearing karma by doing things that don't seem right to us. Those people now who have lost, are seeing, or lost their businesses, or feel like they've lost their businesses, are seeing the government and how they believe possibly that they have been taken care of, or that they love us. They might be seeing in a different way. And so now they're preparing something totally different. And in doing that, consciousness may be a part of their awakening. Does that make sense? So we can't judge people. We don't have to accept what they do. But if we judge them, you can acknowledge and move on. I think that's what, let me see what this says. Someone may be on a different path than you, but you must understand that they are playing their part. Judgment is an aspect of fear. Your job is to love everyone as you love yourself. Okay, that's too much. because that points the finger right back at you. How much do you love yourself? While you extending judgment out of fear towards someone else, I would rather, Spirit says, or our guides are saying, we have to extend out of, we can only extend out of who we genuinely are. She said, it reminds me of the loving kindness meditation. You extend loving kindness and good wishes to all. But if you are hard, but if you find it hard to people who do harm, so for now I hold the wish that I will be able. Yeah, because you're looking at a part of you actually. You would never murder anyone, but for the grace of God, wouldn't you feel the same way a murderer would feel if they had not had the correct supports in their lives, if they felt unloved, if you felt unloved, if you felt disregarded, if you needed mental health care and you couldn't get it, if everywhere you went and you lost your mind, couldn't you understand how that could be? That's compassion, not acceptance of the act. Do you understand what I'm saying? She said again, let me read it again. It reminds me of loving kindness meditation. You extend loving kindness and good wishes to all, but I find it hard, okay, with people who do harm. So for now, I hold the wish that I will be able to, because you're looking at yourself. So if you can extend love to yourself, you won't be able to extend it to someone else. And that would it just said that. It says someone may be at a different path than you, but you must understand that they are playing a part. It's a part in this puzzle piece, in this big puzzle piece picture. Judgment is an aspect of fear. Your job is to love everyone as you love yourself. So the question becomes, how do you love yourself? You must be judgmental to yourself. Come on now. I dropped my pictures. I dropped my instruments. Are you hard on yourself? Do you second guess yourself? Do you talk, oh girl, you so silly. I don't know why you did. Do you trust yourself? Do you extend, do you mind your business? Do you extend love? Is there a regime that you have for yourself that keeps you on board and nobody and no one is allowed? But if you don't have that, then you can't not judge another because it's not in you yet. It hit me in my throat. I was like, that's too much. So if I'm going to be consistent this week, one of the things I have to do is to understand this very one thing, that everybody has a value. The president-elect has a value. The former president, everything you can't stand has a value because it's teaching you something. Are you paying attention? Isn't that the question? The shadow keep coming up. It's doing its job. Are you? Ooh, I felt it in my spirit. In meditation, we're supposed to love others like mother loves her child. I think beyond that, because that's not unconditional. That's the deepest as a human can, one who truly loves a child. But you're not, see, Spirit is talking about unconditional love. Because the love that you have for your child, you'd go do anything. But it's not unconditional because they can piss you off quick. They can do some things that are different than what you would do. And you find, like, I don't like that. That's not unconditional love. Are you hearing me? So I suggest we go even deeper and be attached to the unconditional love of creation. And it first starts with me. So then when I see others, the compassion and the love that it took me to get to myself, it will not be hard to be understanding and compassionate to others, not accepting of their behavior, but able to see how that could be. Pray, do whatever you've been led to do, and move it on. Lacking judgment or fear. Hey, hey, glow, glow. Excuse me, got the hiccups. Lord, don't let me be grown. I don't need to grow wide. I just need to grow wise. Good day, my love. Thank you for joining us. I'm so grateful that you beautiful souls are here. Right. And so see how so when you mind your business, you begin to see that, oh my God, I have a root. I understand where that comes. Wait a minute. I understand where those things come from. And see, once you start working, you talked about Diana, your discernment, the lack of your intuition you were talking about. But look what has changed since you've been here. Look how your perception has changed. If it has, but I choose to believe that it has. And with that being said, now you're minding your business and you losing your mind. Because now it makes sense. Because when we use our own definitions from our former belief systems, then none of this shit makes sense. Because the definition for love, let's just say the definition for love that we have been taught all of our lives, that's so different from what real love is. So if I'm trying to make decisions based on old information, you got some virus information in your computer. We have virus information in our computer. And so how do you know it's virus? Because when you do something, you get a reaction. Whatever you react to, you already know that's a wound that's not healed. The only time you know you're doing well is when you're responding. Because when somebody come and hit you or hit you on your shoulder, if you don't have a wound, it's not a big deal. But if you just had shoulder surgery and somebody hit that wound, baby, somebody gonna go down. First card spirit says this week when we talk about consistency, be mindful that everything, everybody, all of your experiences have value. Everything you dislike about that person, that situation, you wish you would. Spirit says, what I need for you to do is mind your business and go back to that situation and take out the blessings and the lessons and big adieu, goodbye, sever the ties with the pain. Instead of looking at the pain and not seeing the value of that experience, because everyone and everything has value. I feel that in my whole spirit. And with that being said, once you do that, spirit, our higher self is saying, listen, now you like that's too much. I was already, you had me in my jugular veins with the everybody got experience. Now you want me to be the one? Well, if you think that if you have the baldacity, if we have the baldacity to judge other people, then why is it so hard for you to be the example? I want to take my hat off, but I need to leave my crown covered. Think about that. If you think the person and all the people and all the experience and all the things that are so heinous, and maybe they are, if you judging that, then okay, well, show me what I need to know. Greetings, come on in, make yourself known. Does this make sense? So Spirit says, when you're being consistent, again, where's my paper, Lord? What is consistency? You ever had the wrong consistency in the cake batter? It was too runny. It was ineffective. And once it's too runny, and once the consistency is off, the whole situation is off. Y'all know what I'm saying? Consistency is the way in which a substance holds together the thickness or the viscosity. You want some whipped cream and you just whipping the eggs and the egg whites, and then they come out like, ugh, well, I don't want to put that on my key lime pie. The consistency is all. That's one definition for consistency. Thank you for the likes and shares. Thank you so much. Hey T, I'm so glad you're here. I totally understand what Diana means, and that is great teaching with Diana. Absolutely, me too. Right? I get it. George Floyd was the name that I was thinking of. I don't care of the most heinous things that happen. We have to understand that everybody has a part. Whether it's what we would agree to or not, it's part of the big picture. A lot of people have to lose their lives. A lot of people have lost their homes. A lot of people have, the water has been flooding. But these are all part of their incarnations, their souls' incarnations for this lifetime, to be a part of how this picture goes forward. So, order always brings in chaos, because before you can have order, you got to have some chaos. And as unfortunate as that is, it doesn't take away from what the unconditional love. See, a lot of these things that are happening are a result of our misalignment. And because more of us are coming into alignment, right? The beast or the man-made situations are fighting to stay alive. But that's not how we fight. We fight not against flesh and blood. We can't allow judgments and fears and all the things that are happening on the horizontal to be where our attention is. That's why we have to understand, mind our business about our pains and our traumas. Not be, you weren't brought here to be healing all your life. That's just a part of your human experience, to acknowledge that there's some things along the way that you may have learned that no longer serve you. That'll make you bad, right, wrong, good. It makes you aware. It makes you minding your business. It makes you consistently losing your mind, being transformed by the renewing. Hey, Zena, how are you? And welcome in. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that you're here. So the word of the week for January 19th through the 25th is consistency. Whether it is bringing things together to the right timing, right? Or spirit bringing things to the right timing and you being a part of that, or whether it is doing something the same way over time, over and over and over. The questions that we had to ask ourselves today is, there is a part of you, or this is a statement, there is a part of you that desires to remain the same. Know that. And it's called your shadow. And if you're standing in light right now, and if you turn your head around, you'll see it. It's always there. And a lot of times our shadow is really trying to keep us safe, but safe in the mindset of the former. For an example, it might come up like, you ever felt like, we ever touched something hot and ain't nobody had to tell you that again? Ever done that? Right? So your experiences then create a root, a subconscious response, a subconscious occurrence, that every time you see fire, it gives you you don't even have to bring it up. It's involuntary response. And there's a lot of involuntary things that have happened inside of your life that are negative, that are creating, when you do it, an involuntary response. And your shadow is that. and it's not going to go away. Your job is not to try to get rid of it, it's management. So there's a part of you, know that there's a part of you that desires to remain the same. So you got to say, who's in charge? I forgot to say that earlier. Diana says, sometimes I can see that the lesson in that for me is it to do different and to behave in a way to prevent those things. I'm not okay. Let me say it again. Sometimes I can see that the lesson is that for me is to do different and to behave in a way to prevent those things. Absolutely. There's a lesson there to come up to you, because that's what minding your business is. Because if you don't pay attention to you, then you're going to project it onto another person, place, or thing. You're not going to take responsibility for when it comes up for you. So if something, I don't care if it was something that heinous happened in your life, if you're here today, it is not meant for you to hold on to the heinous or the traumatic part of that. I'm not saying how easy it is. The mere fact that you hear there's a story to tell, there are lessons that you have gleaned, there are blessings that have happened. And when you go back, you got a book, a movie, a support group, a new business of people who are waiting for you to acknowledge and get over that so you can show them it can be done. But if you're looking at everything as, oh my God, I don't even understand. They should have that they don't even deserve to live. Excuse me. What if that were you? And I know that's hard. But if you don't have compassion and love for you, you can't extend it to another. All right, let me keep going because I keep stopping. And the other point, 3 points. There's a part of you that desires to remain the same, and you have to ask yourself, who's in charge? When it comes up, you're in charge. And I got to share this because I have a client who worked in the penal system for years, right? And we were talking, and she had some. We were talking, and we this came up, and she was a corrections officer for years. I said, now who are you? She said, I said, you're the corrections officer for your soul. That's who you are. You're the corrections officer for you. Who's in charge? And here's the example. In a penal system, I won't even use a penal system. Let's just say going into the military or in a formal organization. Everybody coming in has their way of doing things. Everybody doesn't like waking up at a certain time of day. Everybody doesn't like to be yelled at. Everybody doesn't like necessarily to conform to rules. Some people are very nice. Some people still have chips on their shoulders. And all of that influx comes into that organization. And it is the job of the organization to entrain those people to what that the guidance is, what the motto is. In the case of the military, the UCMJ, the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And it doesn't matter what branch of the military you're in, you have to fall into this. And so then they have boot camp. There's a training, because some people ain't going to get up at the right time. Some people going to have a problem. Right? So that's like your shadow. Your shadow keeps coming up and it has attitude. It don't feel like doing it. It ain't understanding you. You doing something different. I ain't used to this. Well, what we gonna do? So who's in charge? You're the corrections officer. You're the sergeant of arms of your life. And you have to determine in making and minding your business whether you love yourself enough to do what it takes to do. Ooh, that's deep. I like that. I don't necessarily like that, but I felt it in my whole spirit. She said, I meant when judging the bad things, like the death of George Floyd, Or yes, absolutely. Because we can, and that's why I said we have to be mindful of joining into vigils and marches and homegoing, be, being pulled into the sorrow of situations, because the sorrow of situations can keep us in a dense energy. You can acknowledge what's happening, but you have to know how much you can absorb before spirit, your higher self, and all of your guides are saying, this is what I need you to project this. I need you to do this. It doesn't mean you don't care. It just means that you can't participate in adding to that dense energy. There's a distraction there. You have to be discerning of it, not heartless, but your heart is being transformed by the renewing of your mind as well. T say, talk about it. Don't worry, that helps this live. I'm grateful for that. Okay, we're supposed to be finished by 12:30. All right, so we're going forward. So here's the thing I want you to ask yourself all week when it comes to consistency and how it's working for you. We already know there may be situations where you've already made up your mind about something and spirit wants you to see it a little differently, and add that, eat the fish and spit out the bones, right? And we also know that as you do that, there are going to be opportunities, obviously, to be an example of that, first to yourself, because spirit says once you start loving yourself, it will spill out. There's an overflow that other people get to experience. So I'm going to provide you with information and opportunities for you to be an example of that. Okay. Familiarity is the comfort zone and it's not safe for you. And the last one is your shadow requires your attention. When it appears, it's doing its job. Ask yourself, am I doing my job? Is it in charge? Or am I the sergeant at arms? Right? So when you get to these junctures, ask yourself at these decision making times, do I love myself enough to, whatever you're thinking about, ask yourself, do I love myself enough to do this? Do I love myself enough to pick that up? Do I love myself enough to shut up? Do I love myself enough to speak highly of myself? Do I love myself enough? Because now it's all about you. Does this make sense to everybody? Yes, new patterns. And it's about the loving of self. It's about you. It's literally us taking responsibility for ourselves. We're minding our business and moving forward. Spirit says, so when the opportunity comes up, I want you to take it and I want you to run with it. I want you to look at it like it's like the manna fell from heaven, like $1,000 bills falling around. What you gonna do with it? Oh my God, you don't know what to do. Make the best of the opportunity. Oh, I look so yeah. There's something that is going to come up this week. And by you being consistent with minding your business and changing your mind and losing all of these old things, all of the and taking on a different perspective about things, it's going to give you the opportunity to use the stuff that you got. So let's see, Spirit. Let's go into our archetype. Oh, thank you so much, my love. I'm just listening. I'm just listening because you know what? You know why? If I think I can do this with the level that you might be feeling it, is because I understand it applies to me too. Like I'm not. This is not a pitchfork. I got the pitchfork and I'm forking it off to you. I'm also a sponge to this because I know it is a corporate. It is a collective reading. And the same things that we are feeling, if I'm feeling it, I know you feeling it. It may be on a different level. And so that helps me to compassionately and empathetically. I didn't say my methods were always compassionate and empathetic because she got some bad. My ghetto ways is a different little taste I put all up in that everything sauce. But it helps me to be relatable, I think. And I'm not tooting my horn, but I think that's what works. My father was extremely good. He was an extremely good storyteller. But thank you so much for saying that. Because, see, if you can relate to it, it's functional. And if it's functional, you will see it more often in your life. All right, let's get to it. Thank you so much. Why you do the Spirit, thank you for the archetype that helps us to see the light attributes as well as the shadow attributes. What is the archetype for the week of January 16th through the 25th for the collective? The archetype. You're so good. I cannot tell you how much I love you. I'm telling you, I started to take a picture of all these cards, right? Because I was going, like I said, I wanted to do a preliminary read, but I wanted people to see that I was actually getting this in real time, right? But I was led to do this first cards that you saw, and Spirit says use those, right? I'm like, okay. But then when I started playing around with the archetype cards, because I'm just warming up, this card came up. I promise you this card came up and I'm like, oh my God, that fits. And I said to myself, I hope that card comes back up because it's so fitting. And here it is. The archetype of the saboteur. You may come up against some self-sabotage this week. Because you're going to just be seeing things that you still have a little judgment and a little fear going on with. And you might say something you don't want to say, and you're like, oh God, I know that won't right. It might feel some kind of way. You might not always take advantage of all of the situations of the day that comes up. But the next day you might. So Spirit says, listen, I want you to be mindful of how you can sabotage yourself. You remember sabotage or the saboteur. The saboteur is the person who practices the sabotage, right? And we're all clear with what sabotage is. If you would put maybe one word or two words that would describe a few words if you need to describe sabotage, right? So I can know if we're on the same page with that. Sabotage. Oh, that's too deep. I see y'all just Spirit be getting me too. One or two words derailing your goals, or your peace. Yeah. It's like you say you want to do something, but when the time comes up, you do like T. Higgins emojis right there. You get to running. I'll get to it tomorrow. I'm going to do it. Right? And then something else comes up and you allow that thing to be more important. So you sabotage yourself or you put yourself in a position to not be successful. Any other for sabotage? I'm loving this, y'all. And I hope that you use this as your wellness plan going forward. Right? It exposed, okay, so let's just say, so that's a good example, right? And I think we get it. Right? So this week's archetype is the saboteur. I want you to be mindful. It says highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it will bring to your life. Because remember, the second card says, I want you to be an example. This card says, it's going to come up for you like, but what if I do that? Then how is that going to affect? But you all down the road thinking this empowerment that you're going to do, I want to do it, but what is it going to cause to happen in my life? Does this make sense? So Spirit wants you, and that's the light attribute. When that thing comes up, and you know the things that set you off, you know the things that pull you off your game, you know those shadows, right? So understand the Spirit knows that you may feel this. The light attributes is like, okay, feeling scared that, but what if I do this? How is this person going to feel? But what if I stop eating this? How am I going to cook? All these other things that prevent us from doing the thing. The judgments that comes up, right? The not taking advantage of everything that we could have taken advantage of in that day due to sabotage. I said I was going to do it. I'll do it tomorrow. No, I promise. For real, though. I'm going to get it tomorrow. Does that sound familiar? And the shadow side says, induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. What's self-destructive behavior? I'll do it tomorrow. Repeating that same karmic energy, falling prey to your shadow. That's destructive behavior. So, Spirit says, I want you to be mindful this week that the saboteur of the saboteur and how it plays out in your life. And it doesn't mean that you're right or wrong if you go light or dark. It doesn't mean, because we're made of both. Just be aware of this archetype and how it shows itself. Are we clear? Does that make sense? Yes. Ooh, so this is our wellness plan for January 19th through the 25th. Who else is here today? All right. What spirit then are the power animals? Because I had to ask. We have another little. If you'd like to get a reading today, it's only 11:11. You can go to my Cash app, and it is $MIRRAYOU. And these are instruments. I'm starting to call my cards instruments, tools, right? And in meditation, these are the things that will begin to open up exponentially for you. So I don't want you to be fearful. I want you to be consistent. And I don't want you to bite off more than you can chew, because then you put yourself in the position of not utilizing all you can, or you'll put yourself in a position of falling right back into that self-destructive behavior. Make sense? So thank you, Spirit of the Most High. We asked for you to tell us the power animal that will best suit this journey for us and consistency. January 19th through the 25th. What is the power animal for us? Okay, thank you. The buffalo, abundance. You are provided for in all your ways. And so as you move forward and as these new ideas come up and as you begin to step into the forefront of your own life, not for anyone else, but be an example for yourself and accomplishing what you say, knowing that there are going to be some ups and downs. Remember, you trying to wear high heels, and Spirit have you in those spiritual stride rights. So we're gonna make some mistakes, but just know, in all that you do, you are provided for, and you don't have to worry about whether you're protected. Everything is already planned for you. All you have to do is be consistent. Ooh. All you have to do is stay in the process lane instead of the what? Tell me what? The process lane instead of the what lane? Put it in the chat. Stay out of the process lane, but stay in the process lane and stay out of the what lane? We've been talking about it. Those two lanes. Anybody? Stay out of God's lane. toot your horn because you are you're phenomenal, baby. Thank you, baby. Stay out of God's lane. Remember, God's lane is the outcome, the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. Our lane is the process, paying attention to our intuition and taking courageous steps towards where we got it. Okay? Remember, God's lane is the outcome lane, where it handles the who, the what, the when, the where, and the how. And that's typically where we spend a lot of our time trying to figure out how it's going to happen. When we don't have to. All we have to do is stay in the process lane. Because in the process lane, you are learning and paying attention to your intuition. You are qualifying and quantifying your experience. You are staying in alignment so that as spirit provides you with the who, what, when, or where, or the outcome, you then are able then to step into it seamlessly or bumpy, however, but you're able to step into it, right? You got it? So that's what we have. One more step. Now this last card at 1, 2, 3, 4, which is a 10, completion. This last card is talking to you about trusting your vibe. As these things happen, we already realize that there's a part of you that does not want you to change. And that it's going to come up and there's going to be some cognitive dissonance, some second guessing, some feeling uncomfortable, because that's what transition does. It doesn't mean that you're incorrect or you're right or you're wrong. It just means your body is telling you that you're doing something a little bit different. And what the hell are we going to do now? Say intentionally creating issues for yourself. Yes, absolutely. So Spirit says, now I'm providing you with a wellness map for this week. You're going to be consistent. You're going to refrain from being fearful, and your fear brings up judgment of yourself and others. But what's the message is, I want you to be an example to yourself first, because everything is about you. You are being in charge of your shadow. You are saying to yourself, I'm in charge of this, and I love myself enough to, right? You're also taking advantage of the opportunities. And I would say that some of these opportunities may seem like small steps coming up this week, but they're going to have a huge impact and remind you that you're in alignment. You're in the know. However, you're going to have some sabotage moments. Then, if it comes up, I want you to know that this is only your propensity to say, okay, I'm doing something different. This is self-empowerment. I don't know how this is going to turn out for me. Oh my God, I'm feeling some kind of way. Acknowledge that. Do it anyway. Because if you don't do it, you're going to create some self-destructive behavior or karmic behavior that you've always done and get the same result. Are we together so far? All right. The biggest thing your power animal this month is, or this week is, your buffalo. Now, you might not see a buffalo walking down the street, but while you're doing something and Buffalo Wild Wings come up, a buffalo, a picture of a buffalo hot sauce, whatever it is, at that moment, you must have been thinking about something that Spirit wants to confirm. So be mindful of whether you keep seeing the word buffalo. If you keep hearing about buffalo, I would even encourage you to look up the spirit animal of the buffalo. What are the properties of the spirit animal buffalo? And let it further expand for you. But the main information is that you are always protected and provided for. So no matter what all this says, you straight. So you don't have to worry about that. All right. So where does it, Spirit, that we find difficult to trust in ourselves? What is it that you want to help us to trust? within our bodies and our minds. These synchronicities. Uncloak the truth for me, Archangel Michael. Please and thank you. And I said, uncloak the truth. Cloak yourself in light. Cloak yourself in light. A cloak is like those big, beautiful capes that uh Barnabas Collins or the vampire would put on, right? And it tied up here, but it was open and it's beautiful. That's what a cloak is, right? And it's a protection. When you cloak yourself in protection, you ask that your spirit guides and the Most High and whomever you are involved in to protect you and cloak you. That's an impenetrable layer of protection. So, Spirit says, while you're doing this, be mindful of protecting your energy. Because remember, I'm going, you might encounter people, places, and things, right? That you are aware of, and most that you're not aware of. But I need you to understand and protect your spirit man through any rituals, through your intentions. But I need for you, and most of the times we do that when we in meditation, which increases our intuitiveness, right? But there are certain things you do. Sometimes you might hear me spraying something. I use Florida water. Sometimes in my prayers, I have certain things I say. I might be using candles. I might be in meditation, right? I might be cleansing my area of all energies that no longer serve me, right? And you have to have certain things that you do to ensure that you are protecting yourself or going through the motions of speaking to and aligning with the higher self so that you're protected. So this week, trust yourself, but cloak yourself in light, right? Understand that you are going through a lot of transition right now. And when you go through transition, you go through all kinds of ups and downs. But you but you don't want to have yourself doing so much that you are doubting yourself, or you are fearful of yourself, or you let your guard down and now you're talking to somebody else to give you confirmation. Not just someone else, you're talking to people who you don't need to be talking to. You're going back into the comfort zone because you just need to feel like you're right. But sometimes when you to go to the wrong people for the right thing, you know what happens. Thank you so much, Tasha, for sending me that love. Thank you for my Cash App love today, and I can certainly use it. I appreciate you. Thank you. Ashe. Buffaloes have come up a lot in conversation in the last 2 days. Wow. And rewatching Avita Sky Bison. I don't know about what that is. But yeah, see now this wellness plans, all of these instruments, these tools will make you more aware, which will then spark your discernment because now you know that things are not just happening. It's not a coincidence. See, when you cloak your energy, you become very much aware of your vibes. Even in the house and wherever you are in your safe space right now, you know that's a safe space, but you have to go outside of your home or your space to do something, which means you're going to subject yourself to whatever is out there. And so, because you don't know what you will come upon, you always want to shield up. That's what I say, shield up and imagine possibly yourself being covered in a golden, like a golden egg of impenetrable light, right? So you can find some ways to do that. And when you come in the house, this is what cloaking your energy or being aware of your energy expenditure is, because that's you, that's your spirit, that's what moves you. If somebody punch you in your arm, you physically could feel that. But if somebody punch you in your spirit, would you know the difference? Right? So you're learning that your spirit man is very much as important, if not more, I would say more important than your physical, because it entrains your entire anatomy and physiology. So I hope this was a blessing to you. I hope that this message will help you throughout the week. And I'm not, again, I am learning more and more about this platform. So what I would like to do is possibly get this video and kind of edit it a bit. For those of you who are blessed to begin history with me today, thank you so much. We're gonna look back at this small beginning one day and say that you were a part of history. You were a part of the first Sunday brunch, virtual Sunday brunch on YouTube. All right. So you created helping me with history today, and I'm so grateful for you. And I'm going to get some good lighting and get all this stuff together. And as we grow and as we go this week, be consistent. Be the boss of you. Know that yourself, there's parts of you that do not want you to change because we don't know about that. That's too much. Avatar is a cartoon and prominent teacher in the Sky Basin. Oh, okay. Okay. I have no idea. Okay. um what is your takeaway? What is the one or two things that you can think of right now that this Sunday brunch has brought to you or has revealed to you? Tell me, what are those things? What is it? What will you take away this week? Because again, this is a working document, right? I would like to, when I had it in the nest, I had a template to use that you could fill out all the things, and you could literally go back during the week and look at it. You writing notes, that's excellent as well. But this, I want you to, if you have a loose leaf notebook or a notebook with 3-ring binder or whatever you have, or phone, I want you to be able to look at these things to see. So what I'm going to do really quickly, I don't know if it will help or not. Just Zena said, I stay in my lane. Absolutely. That the shadow is doing its job. Am I doing mine? There you go. I like that. Anyone else? I'm going to hold up the cards of the week. If you would like to take a screenshot of them, you may, right? I'm going to repeat and we're going to be gone. If you'd like to get a read, I'll do that as well for 11:11 for everyone. Um, I did write some other notes. It says every day you remind yourself how much love you have for yourself by the individual choices that you make. Ooh, that's why I said ask yourself this question. Do I love myself enough to, and whatever that thing is? All right. Consistency, again, is the conformity into an application of something, right? Bringing something so it can be used. And I didn't say this, but conformity really helps with communication. Because if everybody is speaking the same language, like in the military, then when something is said, there's a general understanding of everybody in the organization. So when it brings conformity, it does help with communication and understanding between individuals and groups. The other definition I had is the way in which a substance is held together, its thickness or its viscosity. The 3 points I wanted you to be mindful of is there's a part of you that desires that you remain the same. I'm going to call it the shadow. And ask yourself, are you in charge? Second point, familiarity is your comfort zone and is unsafe for you. Okay? When it appears, your shadow, number 3, is your physical experiences, usually the negative ones, right? Or thoughts or behaviors. Your shadow requires your attention now. And when it appears, it is doing its job. Question: are you doing your job? Right? Consistency. First card we talked about was everyone has value. And when we begin to judge people based on what our belief system is and what we think is right, then we're actively engaging in fear. Right? So as the things come up this week, be mindful of the people, places, and things that you are holding judgment for, and see how you can eat the fish and discard what no longer serves you. Because it's important that we are becoming examples first to yourself. First, make sure that you're minding your business and allowing yourself to lose your mind, all the old things, right? So that you're better able to stand firm within yourself. So then when you see others, you don't judge. You have compassion and you move on because you know what could be like. Spirit is also this week moving forward, asking you to make each day count. Matter of fact, I'd like for you to find something at the end of the day that you can put in your journal to say, today I did this. Something. Whether it is an act, a changing of your will, the changing of your perspective, whether it is a aha moment, right? Because we are bringing in our focus and we are minding our business. Be mindful that the saboteur will attempt to show up. And if it does, be mindful of the light attributes that it may make you feel like just because you're doing this new thing, you're scared and I don't know if I want to go for it, but I will. Or maintain those habits and do the same thing you've already been doing. In anything that we're doing, the buffalo is our spirit animal, telling us whatever steps we make and whatever we need, we are provided for on every level. And to trust yourself. Trust yourself, check yourself, check your energy expenditures, and cloak yourself in light. Shield up because you cannot always see what is trying to get at you. And we are not fighting flesh and blood. This is a spiritual warfare. And our tools are spiritual warfare, and our guidance and our instructions come through our alignment. Stay in your lane. My Lord, I feel like church. Okay, Diana. Diana wants to get a read. Thank you so much. Is everybody on now? We have the wellness plan for the week. Now, as we go forward and as this pick up, and I suspect that it will, I can see the Sunday brunch really morphing from just this thing to something very big and something different. Um, and so, as I become more familiar with the platform and what it has to offer, we may have subscriptions and other things, but I still am on Patreon. So, if you need to get to me, you want to get your take advantage of the packages I have to work together, please do so. If you also are looking, you have to send me this email because I'm not offering this much more. But the Path to Your Spiritual Awakening course, that 4 week, 1 hour a week course, um, if you would like to pay for that course, um, instead of pay in full, pay 2 installments, we can work on that. Just send me an email and I can tell you, we can set something up for that, right? I just want to be, I want it to be effective. I mean, and I gave everybody an opportunity a few months to have that program at a half the price, but Spirit says move on and so shall it be. Okay, so let's get to Diana. Thank you so much, Diana, let's get the cards for Diana. What are not the cards, Spirit, what are the tools, the instruments for Diana. That's for Diana. This for Diana. I knew it. Okay. All right, my love. Thank you so much. You were the first one here today, too. She says, my shadow is doing its job. Am I doing mine? Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you all can relate and understand, and this message is hitting the spot that it should. And I had no doubt, but it's just good to hear that the people that are participating get it, right? Because it's a heavy message. And so let's just see how we grow through in the coming week. All right, take a deep breath in, and I'd like you to say, I am here in the comments, Diana. Thank you. Thank you for Diana. Everybody, take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. Do that again for me. In through your nose. Hold it. And out through your mouth. Spirit says, you know what to do, Diana. You know what to do, but you have to love yourself enough to do it. You know what to do, but now it's love yourself enough to do it. And it kind of goes back to the read where it says be an example. And we're not trying to be an example to anybody else, although that might be a residual effect. But feeling confident in yourself through all that life you've gone through in this life and all of your experiences. Spirit wants you to feel secure and strong so that as you use the gifts that are becoming apparent to you, that you can not only be a blessing to yourself, but to the world. Because everything we do, everybody, is not just for us. We are awakening so that we can be a support for the collective. Thank you, Spirit. Does that make sense? Beautiful message from Source. I thought so too. Thank you. What are the things you want her to be mindful of in this deck that I was directed to? Trust your vibes. Well, yeah, right? Because you were saying, I found it a little challenge. What is that you want my... Wait a minute. Can I ask the question? Because that was just too quick. What did you want Diana to know about standing tall in her... Spirit says, call on your runners. You know what runners are? Those are those are usually people that are assigned. Think of a runner as a messenger. They come pick up the package and they deliver it. In other words, you don't have to do all the work. You don't have to do a lot of things that you think you have to do, which really puts you in a kind of a freeze moment, right? What was the... I lost it. What was the phrase that I said? Spirit says, what did you say, Spirit? Please remind me of the phrase that I used for Diana. Oh my gosh, it skipped me. But whatever the phrase I use, Spirit wants you to understand that a lot of the things that you're doing are good things, but they're not the things that you have to do. And that 4 plus a 2 equals 6. 6 is about balance. So you have divine help through your prayers, through your meditation, through your intentions. There are helpers or runners that can complete processes for you so that you will not feel like you're so spread apart. I wish I could remember. Spirit, please remind me what the first title you said. What was the thing you said for her? Mm, I can't remember what it said, but the message is going to uncover. Anyway, clarify, call on your runners for Diana. Call on your runners. The clarification is stay in your own skin. In other words, you're figuring out things right now. You're going to figure out what you need to do and how you can designate some things. Right? Staying in your skin, that 6 plus 2 is an 8. And that 8 speaks on infinity. Right? You're going to always be you. But coming into this alignment of who you are, become trusting yourself, learning how to, all of those things that we talked about earlier. This is what Spirit says. And when you do that, you'll begin to understand what part is yours and what part you should give away or not even be a part of. Clarify. So Spirit wants you to be mindful of that. There is something that's coming up, but don't feel like you have to do everything, because we also have the power animal or the spirit animal of the buffalo. Everything you need is already taken care of, right? And if you learn how to get balance in your life and to designate some of these things, you'll find out that you have more time to mind your business. How do you want my baby? What do you want her to be mindful, cautious, aware of? Mindful, cautious, or aware of. Listen, look at that ear. I'm coming to you to bring you all kinds of ways that we can communicate. It might be through music, it might be through nature. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm speaking. And like I said, when you first came on, you are in alignment. Your intuition is intact. We wouldn't have never been here if it wasn't. So Spirit says, what I'm showing you, I'm sharing with you different ways. I'm speaking to you. It might be a word in the song. It might be you might be listening out there on the deck or outside, and certain birds come down. Something is going to get your attention because now you're becoming in alignment even more by choice. Not just by saying, I'm trying to do this. Oh my God, I got to do all of these things. You are literally changing or being transformed by the renewing of your perception, of your cognition, of your thoughts, of the swords, if we're in tarot. Okay? So Spirit says the first thing we're going to do is you're going to learn, right, who you are. And as you learn who you are, you're going to realize you don't have to do everything. And you're going to start to use your intentions to call in your help, your divine team. And when you do that, be ready. Be ready for how it's going to come. You may not know how it's going to come. All right. Hearing spiritually could be also seeing something. You're just aware of that there is something going on. All right. So don't just keep it to just something's going to come into my ear. It probably will. But in addition to that, your senses are going to be elevated. Last thing, moving forward. Hey, Simone. How are you? How do you want Diana to move forward? Ooh, personalize your relationship. Remember, I told you, I don't know if you remember or if I've ever heard me say it. And let you take a picture. I'll give you all these cards up front so you can take a snapshot if you would like. But I don't know if you were here when I said that my higher self's name is Dominique Devereaux. When you personify your relationship, it becomes more personal to you. Now, maybe not for you, but typically we become attached to things that we can relate to. right? So Spirit says, name your higher self. How is that going to happen? You're going to be maybe in meditation. You might be journaling. You might be just be listening to a song, right? But something will come to you from your heart, some expression, something that's going to come through a door some kind of way, and it's another 8. That 8 is about that eternal, or is it another 8? Yeah, that's another 8. That's all about the infinite, the power, right? And it's going to come to you. And when it does, feel free to be joyful, to play with it. Allow yourself to not say, "Oh, I can't do that. That don't sound." If you want to come on here. What's his name? Come on here. What does that mean? It's personal. Don't do that. It's whatever it is. You're making your entire journey personal, and you're talking to it. When I first started talking to God, when I start, letting go some of my former beliefs, I'll be like, "Look, damn it!" And then the first time I was cussing, I was like, "Oh, don't strike me dead." I'm like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute. That's not a person you're talking to. That's an energy." But I had to go through, and it is, and you may never talk to your higher self that way. But I be getting pissed off sometimes, and it gets pissed right off with me. It sets my ass straight because that's the kind of ghetto higher self I got. I need bougie, and ghetto, because you know yourself. My sauce, right? Simone, I'm so glad you're here. So that is it. Let me show you your cards again so you can take a picture and maybe they can speak to you. These instruments begin to speak to you when you look at them. The first one, no, this wasn't the first one. The first one was call on your runners. And I asked Spirit to clarify that card, and it clarified it with stay in your own scan. Do your part and let your runners do theirs. I want you to be mindful of how we communicate, of the various things that may be used to get your attention. And when you get that attention, I need for you to act on it. And so while we're creating and crafting this beautiful relationship, let's personalize it so that it becomes real to you. So I hope that that was a blessing to you. Oh, definitely. Good, good. Hey, Christy, how are you? Everybody's coming in. We're just about to finish up. I'm so glad that you guys are here. And for those of you who have been here the week, for the week of, excuse me, for those of you who've not been here, quick recap for your wellness plan for the week of January 16th, 19th through the 25th is the word consistency. Okay. Consistency. Ask yourself 3 questions this week, or be mindful of these 3 statements. There's a part of you that desires that you remain the same. Know this, that there's a part of you that desires to remain the same. And you should ask yourself, who's in charge? That part of you, we're going to call your shadow. All right. Number 2, familiarity is your comfort zone and it's unsafe for you to be there. Familiarity is your comfort zone. It's unsafe for you to be there. It doesn't allow you to trust yourself because you're doing the same things with the same people at the same time over and over and over again. And so it doesn't give you the opportunity to trust what Spirit is showing you. And the third statement is that your shadow, or another word for your shadow, are those negative physical experiences, requires your attention. Your shadow requires your attention. And when it appears, it's going to do its job. Your question that I'm going to ask you, are you going to be doing your job? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I put EST. I did. I put EST in it that it's going to be Eastern Standard Time, and I'll be mindful of that. So are you doing your job? So you must decide whether or how much you, one, truly love yourself. Hmm. Number two, will you be able to love yourself during uncomfortable and painful times? Are you going to be consistent? Right? You can feel what you feel, but see, what are you extracting from the pain? What is it revealing to you? Not dwelling in the pain so long, but dwelling in the information, the lesson, and the blessing. And the third thing, transformation. You must decide how much you love yourself during this transformation process, because it is considered the discovery zone. All right. I did give away, already give the cards to us this week. Last time I'm doing this. I'm glad y'all are here. All right. We're going to first card. First thing Spirit wants us to do is be mindful of that every person, place, and or thing has a value. No matter what it is, no matter what you've been through, there's something that you can extract from the situation that is for you, and to leave the rest. The Spirit says this week, I need for you to not only mind your business, and in doing so, changing your mind, you're going to become an example, not only to others, but first to yourself. And this week, when you're being consistent, make sure you're using every part of what you have, right? Make it all count. Don't just meander through your days. Our power animal or spirit animal is the buffalo. So that spirit is reminding us that we have everything that we need. Our archetype for the week: be mindful of sabotage. Are you going to be a saboteur? The light attributes. Why was the saboteur come up? Because we might be afraid that what we're learning, that we might not be successful, and that might slow us up. But Spirit says be mindful that that's going to be possibly how you're going to feel when you do new things. The shadow says, because if you do not become mindful of that, you'll continue to create destructive behavior, not only for yourself, but for others. And to trust yourself, to cloak yourself in light. And that is your wellness plan for January 19th through the 25th. Yeah, maybe post the time differences on the brunch. Yeah, Christy told me she would be working listening. Thank you so much, love. Don't forget my read. Oh, did you send one too? I'm sorry. I didn't see that. I'm sorry, love. I'm just talking. Thank you so much. Come to the front of the table. Wow, you were before her. I'm sorry. I didn't even see that, baby. Cena, come to the front of the table. And we didn't even describe our Sunday brunch table today. I was so excited. But we'll get better at it. Thank you, Zena, so much, my love. She's like, don't forget me. I'm sorry. Oh my God. All right, say, I am here, Zena. All right, and we're going to ask everybody else. We're not going to worry about the comments. Go ahead and comment. But as a matter of fact, we will. We want to make sure that the person who is receiving their specialty meal has free reign in the comments. So we're going to ask everybody to relinquish using the comments. But keep hitting that little heart or those emojis or 100% or those separate, all of that. Keep hitting those buttons that if you can, because it's helping our algorithm. And if you have anybody you know that's on YouTube, please share. All right, come to the front of the table. Is this for Zena? What are the instruments for Zena? Instruments for Zena. Yes. Instruments for Zena. Okay, your spirit guides have a message for you. The deck that I was using for you, Diana, was Trust Your Guides or Trust Your Vibes. Okay. All right. Dana, did you already say I'm here? So grateful for the reading. It's a blessing that it hit home. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm grateful. I'm grateful because it helps to, for me, in my mind, it fortifies the fact that you are on point, right? And you are learning how to better be your own cheerleader and champion, right? And I look forward to working with you, Diana, and all the rest of you, if you'd like. All right, Zena, thank you so much, my love. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale and relax your body. Relax your body. Inhale again through your nose and exhale through your mouth. One more time. In through your nose. It kind of fits. I heard the phrase, what are you seeing when you look into the future?" And it kind of then it came up with fog, or really having making a decision is surrounded by making a decision. But what are you seeing? Spirit says, right? And the fog may be coming in based on the fears that you have of taking another step, or the fog may be just be still. But Spirit wants you to know, wants you to ask yourself, what is your vision for the future? What is it that you look from way over there? What is your vision? What are you because I see, what are you looking at? What's in front of you? There's some fog. What's in front of you? Not so much for the future, but what's in front of you? I don't know if that's your question, but your spirit guides, messages from the guides. What's the message? What's the fog? Please clarify that for me because that really feels a little unclear to me. Ooh, Spirit said it's not for you. Okay, my bad then. Dang, this is not for you. My bad. Getting all in somebody else's business. The fog. Spirit, thank you for clarity. What do you want Zena to know? Uncloak the truth, Archangel Michael, on this fog. What she's looking at and the fog. Does this make any sense to you, Zena? Uncloak the truth for Zena. Ooh, two came up. Ooh. Possess self-confidence. And I just heard, stop trying to eat the whole apple at one time. Because that can cause the fog, that can cause hesitation, that can cause the saboteur to arise. Remember, we got this card for our wellness plan for this week. Because if you think too much, the light attributes are coming to you to let you know that you may have a fear of taking this step and what that might mean for you. And in doing so, you often kind of overthink, but also remember that everything is already really taken care of. Point blank in the period. So Spirit says, what I need for you to do is to know that even though that's clogged, wait. You're going to keep walking through the fog. You're going to keep going. Spirit says, I need for you to know based on quantitative results. Quantitative results means you've done this stuff many times before. This is not new. It might be a different level, and there may be a level of emotional or mental attachments. There may maybe some attachments, but Spirit says, I just need for you to know, let's go back to courage. You started it yesterday, you mentioned it. Courage. On every level, Everything is being explained, and you understand and are willing to take the next steps. That's some solar plexus energy. That's some knowing that I've done this before. And even though I really can't see clearly what I'm looking at or whatever this is, I know I'm on the right place. So I'm not going to keep thinking, because I know when I keep thinking, I become a sabotage. I become a saboteur. I might overthink. And the second card that popped out with that, and I'm going to use this as the first card, is that you are here for a reason. Queen of the Enchanted Forest. I said it. There's a reason why you might not be moving as fast. There's a reason why it's important for you to be comfortable with your boundaries, because there is something that we are about to do, or you're here for something bigger than you, and you can't get it wrong. Did she just get in my face? I did. All in your face. You can't get it wrong. She said, I'm afraid to look in the future. That's why it's so foggy. That's what I'm seeing. So stop looking. Start being. Today. Today, what was that last card that we have? Make every day count. Find something that makes you happy. And stop looking for something that you are not really willing or maybe even ready to see. Because if you stay out of the lane, see, that's the outcome lane. See, you over there trying to do some things that's way out of your wheelhouse. And it's scaring your little ass, because I don't know what it's going to be. Isn't that what the saboteur said? The saboteur says in the light attributes highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it will bring to your life. But what if I see, oh Lord, I don't want to look. So you're spending a lot of energy over there. But Spirit says, first of all, I need for you to bring your energy back and start having some fun right here, right now, today. Because listen, while you over there trying to figure out what's already worked out and being scared and being fearful, Spirit says, I need for you to know that you've done this before. This is not your first time. You are not, you know what it is. Let's think 3 years ago, what it took for you to have self-confidence to do some of the things that you have done all freaking ready. I just need for you to recap and lose your mind. Second one, how do you want her? No, what do you want her to be mindful of? Just cautious of, aware of. You like this floor, don't you? Damn. Like attracts like. Who you hanging around? Who's speaking to you? What are you feeding yourself? How are you being guided? Are you hanging around the thing that's feeding your high vibration, or are you allowing lower vibrations? Who's talking to you? Who are you sharing with who doesn't get your plan, who really doesn't understand? Who are you trying to, or what? It could be a who, what, or even an event. What is it that's in the middle so it doesn't make you want, excuse me, no. What is it that you're around that is not feeding your yes? What's creating doubt in your, what's not letting you see the big picture? What is it that makes you feel like it's something that you don't want to move forward in? That's what that means for me. Likes attracts likes. Your energy, right? Are you around people who are fortifying your vision? Not necessarily personally, but they're high vibration enough that whenever you get down or whenever something's going on with you, you have a support system that can see the difference right away. You got to come, remember, the part of the wellness plan this week is to come out of the familiar. Come out of the comfort zone because it's not safe for you. And when you stay in the comfort zone, you stay in there with the crabs who would not be able to help you. They don't have the same mentality to you, whether it's vicious or just out of fear. Don't go over there. Don't go to the next job without having this job. That just don't make no sense. But let's just wait till you get. That's a mentality that spirit is bringing you out of. Spirit says that's not how we operate. We operate from here. Here. I will lead and guide you into all truth. So moving forward, spirit. Matter of fact, can you clarify? We go since I made her wait so long. Clarify for me, spirit, what you mean by likes attract likes. Clarify. I'm close to truth, Archangel Michael. On the table. I'm close to truth, please. Like attracts alike. Love is your energy, and anything that's not like that, deuces. Try the spirit by the spirit. In other words, if what you're producing, if what you're putting out is bringing what you don't like, I'm gonna need you to understand to change some things up. This is not anything that you have to do. This is who you are. Love is your energy, and if at any time you're feeling anything other than that, fear, anxiety, afraid, all of those things, then you know that you're out of the energy of creation and you're not attracting those things that need to be. The more you have a fear of not seeing, right? The more you have a fear of anything, that's what comes back to you. The same thing. So Spirit says, what I need for you to do is understand you the queen of the enchanted forest. The fuck? You the what? You've gone through steps. I don't need to. Go get a new crown or do something. Get a new robe or a new cloak, something. Because what we're not gonna do, we're not gonna forget about why we're here. Okay, moving forward. What do you want my baby to know? She said, "You're talking to me. Oh, you've been talking to me all morning, right?" There's certain things that just come with the job. Certain things you don't even have to worry about how it's going to work out. See, abundance is not always financial. You can have an abundance of health, abundance of information, abundance of joy, everything. Abundance is always high vibrational. But depending on what you want, you could have an abundance of sadness if you're putting it out there, because abundance never stops. It's always given. But this abundance that I'm talking about is the abundance of the residual effects of what you desire. That's why Spirit said, if you can just stay out of my lane for a minute and because I keep tripping over your little feet. I like your little red polish on your toes, but you get in my way one more time, you're going to be mine this one because I'm stepping. And I'm going to need you to understand that. You are already taken care of. You got enough of everything. You need nothing. The desires of your heart are over there. And all you have to do is align with it. They've been sitting over there the whole time. And it's just like you just said with me. You up here jumping up and down saying, don't forget my spirit. That's what your blessing over there talking about. But you can't see because you're looking for something. What's that over there, though? I don't know if I like that. Spirit's like, hey, don't forget me. It's already developed for you. So that is your message, along with the rest, that it is you being confident that things are working out and to look in the past to know all the times, quantitative, all the times that they have worked out. Take the fish and put away the bones. And listen what I need you to do with those bones, because those are the shadow that we were talking about. Remember, the shadow is always with us. Are you in charge? You've been in this place before with a different situation, but are you in charge or is it in charge? Sit your ass down. You talk to yourself anyway. You may as well tell your shadow, talk to your shadow like you got some authority. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You are welcome. She is falling out. You talk to yourself. Don't we all talk to ourselves? Heck yeah. And sometimes we see I have two of me. Because they answer each other. Sit your tail down. Who you talking to? I'm talking to you. I know the hell. No, you not. A whole conversation. So if I'm going to talk to myself like that, I may as well set my shadow strizzate. Okay. Tap that screen, y'all. Y'all know that's right. Thank you, Zena, so much for allowing me in your energy. And I hope this word was a word that can stick and stay for the rest of your life, as long as you need it. Just a reminder, I love you. Yeah. Did anybody else get anything from that? If you did, say at Zena Jackson. Thank you. I think you can say it in here. Can you do it? I can't even chat. Dang. Oh, I'm trying to touch the screen. This ain't no touch screen. It's your computer. Let me see if it works. Have you guys enjoyed today's Sunday brunch? Yeah, it works at Zena Jackson. Thank you. Yeah. I'm grateful because I talk a lot. And if we need to talk, if we need to kind of get on board, please, you know how we do. Patreon is still over there. All right. And it might be, I've also started doing, some people like to do it once a month. I've started the program, besides the program, The Path to Your Spiritual Awakening. There is, if you'd like to work with me once a week for a month, just on like maintenance stuff, just coming back to the middle, I'm offering that as well. So go over to my link tree and go to my services, wellness services, and I think I have it up there, but if it's not, I am offering that as a 4 weeks, 1 hour a week for 4 weeks. Okay. Within the 30 days. And so I think I may even, and if you need, like, if you can't do it every week, something comes up, we can't extend that for that 1 week, but let me know. So if anyone else, I'm telling you, listen, when you invest in yourself, the dividends are huge. And if you have not been investing in your spiritual health, and you've been putting your money more into your physical and all the other things about that, then that's one thing that we have to mind our business about. Okay. So for using, if that would helpfully, let's get together and talk. There are all kinds of options over there. Sure. Diana said, "Oh, that was very helpful. Thank you." Diana says, "I will check it out." Please do. Your teachings and readings in the community has been very nourishing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love you all. I'm grateful we spend a lot more time than I anticipated, an hour more, but I'm not mad at that. We will be doing this every single Sunday from 11 to 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, 11 to 12:30. And next week, I'm going to want to hear about how the week went relative to the wellness plans. What was some of the things that came up for you? Right? Make sure you write in your journal. And if you feel the need to have a scream fest but you don't have nobody to talk to, pull out your journal and just start automatic writing. Just don't worry about what you're writing. Just write everything that comes to you to get it out. All right. So again, our wellness plan keyword is consistency. Consistency. Whether it is bringing things together so it sticks, or you having the right measure, right? Or whether you even been consistently not doing what you should do. However, consistency works for you. All right. I love you all, and I thank you again for um, for your time and your space, sharing the space with me. Thank you for your donations, for sharing, liking, subscribing. Please don't forget to set your notifications. I love you and thank you for helping me to make history today. Oh, wait a minute. I keep touching this like this is my other computer. All right. Don't forget to mirror you. Oops. How do I all right. And don't forget to mirror you. Be balanced, be inspired, and continue to grow. Have a good one, everybody. Don't ask me how I sign out. I don't know how to sign out. How do I end the live? I'm ending the live right now. I don't know. Okay, I told y'all I was learning. Oh, here it is. Bye.